P3. Good job for, as it's Steve after penalty. And the big winner from like a bit at the minute to get up into P1 version, the faster driver of the two. Still a bit the lag at the minute, as it's going to be interesting to see what merit is on the back. Alessandro getting another time penalty. That's 2 time penalties for him today. So the final corner, what can Merjan do? Can he do anything? As we start lap number 3, he sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. You can see he has the pace, but at the minute revving the engine a little bit there from Merjan. Jesus. As we look further back, Ryan has got Steve, but Alessandro is in the pits. This is for a stop. I believe it is scheduled, as Jana will move up into P7, as I believe he's the first of the people that have stopped, so he's going to try and take advantage of everyone else battling and try and move Raul there. Raul doing a good job to defend. Merjan sticking with Raul. I've got 1,000,001 things I'm trying to sort out at the minute, as Yannick has a time penalty, so it's not great for him. Meanwhile, Jana doing a decent job in P7. In corner 5 yet to stop. Sir Steve Martin. Steve in P4 also yet to stop. I believe he is on the harder tyre, so he'll be going longer. Ryan, yeah, this is Ryan on the ultra soft. Merjan, who's right up Raul's chuff, but Raul is on the super soft tyre, so he will have a little bit of an advantage. Merjan will have the advantage. But so far, Merjan unable to find a way past Raul in the sprint race here today. For those of you that are just joining us, we've had a few issues. We've had a lot of issues. We ended up restarting the race at a 50% race, as there were issues with people getting stuck in the pits. But this gap seems to be ironed out at around 5. There's a crash ahead! No there wasn't. No there wasn't. Wow, I got excited. Well, I don't think excited is the right word, but I believe Raul lagging around a lot. And oh, for fuck's sake. A lot of problems with the internet at the minute. As Raul got a 1.8 second lead now, so yeah, he's really moving up. So he's made inroads on Merjan, who did make a little bit of mistake. He goes wide through turn number 3. And so far, normal order is resumed. Alessandro on the soft tyres, so he's going to go long. So it's going to be interesting to see. I believe Jano did pit to the super soft, so it's whether or not he'll be able to make those tyres last. We have Raul, 2.8 seconds now. Have Merjan's tyres gone off the cliff? They may have, as this gap has really gone up. Maybe, just maybe, Merjan's tyres are overheating, quite possibly. I'm not entirely sure. But 3.5 seconds now. I definitely think Merjan. Does he have damage? I don't think he does have damage, so maybe it's just the tyres. The tyres are completely gone, as it's 2.7 seconds now. 2.5 and coming down to Ryan. And I believe Merjan is really struggling. I do believe he will be in this lap, as there's not too many battles going on at the minute, as the field does seem to have ironed out. Lock up there. I do believe he's overheated his tyres. Merjan comes into the pits. Raul, up in P1, he had a 5-second gap when Merjan pitted. Merjan's got a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding. That's his afternoon gone from good to bad, or bad to worse, sorry. As now at the front, about an 8-second gap, then about 2 seconds back to Steve, and Path and Merjan coming out the pits now. Path has got time penalty, just as I say that. And Merjan rejoins in clean air ahead of Yannick, who has already stopped, I believe. I'm not quite sure. If he's already stopped, then this could be an effective P2 for him, or P3. If he hasn't stopped, then that's not great in terms of his position. And there's Alessandro really struggling down in P8 last, essentially, with 24 seconds behind. But the race will come to him as it unfolds and people's tyres start to wear. And Ryan's lost about a second. And Steve is closing on Ryan. And it does seem as if the Ultrasofts have quite a dip in pace. Because, yeah, because as you can see, Ryan losing time to Raul, and Steve behind gaining on it all the time. I would be surprised if Ryan doesn't pit this lap, but he does. So Ryan pits, Steve releasing to clean air. Does Paul follow him? No, Paul goes on another lap. Is this Paul going on to lap 8? I'd be very surprised if it was. I think it's only lap 7, as this race has absolutely flown by. Steve, this is going to be quite a crucial few laps if he wants to get out ahead of Ryan. We're going to see where Ryan comes out in relative to Merjan. Merjan has jumped Ryan. It's going to be interesting to see where Jana comes out. I believe the McLarens have actually swapped, saying that. That's very interesting. So I know Jana has pitted, so he's the one ahead. And this could be an effective P4. He slams into the wall. I'm not sure if that's damage for the McLaren. We'll see into this section how much understeer he gets. He might have just got away with that one. Maybe a little damage to the front left element of the front wing. See, this show with the halo, you can't quite see if there's damage or not. There might be damage. He goes wide on off the track. So this is going to be quite a situation between the two McLarens. Is Jana going to allow Yannick back past if they did do a team order swap? As you can see, yeah, I do believe Yannick does have damage to his front wing. This is quite an interesting start to the season for the two McLaren boys, because last season they were right up there fighting, but at the minute they're second last and third last, as Raul soldiers on up in P1. Steve in P2, there's a yellow flag in Sector 3, not sure what this could be. That is Holzhauser, that's Yannick who's gone off. Apologies, I'm just calling them by their PlayStation names. As you can see, big damage there to the front right element. And yeah, that's gonna, if he pits now, can put him out behind Alessandro, as Path is in the pits. So is Jana, and Merjan sets the fastest lap of the race. He is flying at the minute, and currently has about a 23-second gap, as Yannick gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding. He currently has about a 23-second gap to Raul. So Raul is going to have to pit soon if he wants to cover off, because I believe there's about a 23-second, 24-second loss. Don't quote me on that. But so far, Raul, you know, he's keeping it controlled. He's driving a good race, and you know, he does deserve. I'm not saying Merjan doesn't, but he does deserve the win today. His GPRL debut, he literally got called up to a full-time race seat hours ago, and now we're going to see if he comes in this lap. I believe if he goes on another lap. Actually, saying that, no, he's got a bigger gap than that, but he does come in. I've made a little calculation error there. No, I haven't, doesn't matter. I'm having an absolute melon today. Very casual and cautious into the pit lane, as I believe Steve will continue. Steve does continue, yes, he's fine with his tyres. This is going to be very interesting to see where Merjan can come out compared to Raul. Raul coming down the end of the pits now. Has he done enough to stay ahead? Remember, Raul will have the faster tyre. You can see him there on the right. Yes, he does do enough, as Merjan sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But it's not over yet, as Merjan gets a beautiful run through turn 1. Will it be enough? He's got DRS. He's going to go round the outside into turn number 3. This is for the lead of the race. Side by side, Merjan goes ahead. Little lock up there, clean as you like. And round the outside, Merjan is up into P2, which is an effective P1, as 10 seconds up the road to Steve, who hasn't pitted yet. That was a beautiful move from Merjan. But over the length of the stint will go to Raul, as he's had, you know, he's had very good pace. He's sticking with with Merjan, and he does have the softer tyres. So it's going to be very interesting to see if he can pull a move off. But as we saw in the first stint, 5 or 6 laps in, and this Ultrasoft really went off. So it's going to be interesting to see how long these drivers can actually last with these tyres. We have Steve. I believe he will be pitting this lap. I'd be a bit worried if he didn't. as Path does get a time penalty for multiple warnings. Looking a bit further down the pack, we've got the two McLarens in last and second last. A disastrous race for those, as we do have Steve into the pits. Does he exceed the limits? No, he doesn't. Very cautious there, as Merritt will assume the lead of the race. But now we have the battle for first is still on. Raul has had a good lap. He's heated the tyres as Merritt gets out the slipstream. Raul does have DRS. The Spanish driver for Williams, you can see, goes round the outside. That's a beautiful move if he can hold it. He can. Merritt will get the slipstream though for turn 3. Whether it's enough with Raul having the DRS, we're yet to know. As does Merritt does not make a move, so happy in P2 for now. Bit of oversteer there, as now I believe Merritt will have in his mind the fact how quick his tyres went off, and I'm sure he's going to hope that that happens to Raul. As you can see, Steve going to the soft tyres, so completely ignoring the ultra soft, which is an interesting strategy choice. Alessandro up in P6 as Yano sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Yannick gets a 3-second time penalty, as Raul assuming the lead of the race, 1.5 seconds here ahead of Merritt, who he's drove a very good race actually, to be fair. As I'm happy to say the live stream is back online. I'm so happy. Yes, it's working. Things are going my way. As Alessandro gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting track limits. Yeah, it's been an interesting fight so far, and you know you can't count Merritt out. He could. I'm saying that he's hit the wall. He's gone into the wall. That's front wing damage. Is he pitting? No, he's not. I'm pretty sure, as Raul sets the fast up the Grand Prix, I'm pretty sure I saw a bit of front wing come off. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. Looking into turn 1, I can't see too much damage, but that's a massive blow, and he's really going to have to rely on Raul's tyres going absolutely off the cliff at the end of the race. But here's our race leader. He's doing absolutely fine at the minute, not a worry in the world, and as far as I'm concerned, I think he's got the win. We've got the position change up on screen at the minute. Got all the telemetry on. You can see not much ERS. Big performer today was Path up from P7. He's done well, holding P5 just fine. Here's Steve doing a decent job. He's got lots of ERS to spend. We'll see what his split is like in the middle sector. Him and Ryan have split switched positions, as have the race leader and Merritt, who's really struggling on those super soft tyres. Through the final corner now, and the run to the line. A bit further back, we got this is going to be an interesting fight now. Can the Toro Rosso of Ryan close up on Merritt? It will be interesting to see, because Merritt does seem to be struggling. It's about a 4-second gap at the minute, so that will be something to watch, as we will follow the Toro Rossos, as there isn't loads going on at the minute. I believe the closest fight behind that is Path, as there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Has someone gone off? I believe that's Alessandro. Alessandro's round at turn 1, I believe. As he retires from the session. Yeah, he's gone. There wasn't not an incredible standout race today. Haas will score their first points, as he's literally just completed 75% of the race. That's the rule we run here in GPRL. So he will score points. Merritt really coasting at the minute. Maybe he's got overheating tyres, as we turn all the telemetry off. There we go, that's better. As Yannick has another time penalty for exceeding limits. I'm not sure how long that is. Path has another time penalty. And the gap between Ryan and Meriden is closing. Now, no offense to Ryan, but Meriden did have the more impressive pre-season. So it's quite interesting to see Ryan close up on Meriden like this, and this is the sort of confidence that he'll need, you know, newbie in GPRL. Closing out on teammate Meriden. The gap's 2.7 seconds at the minute, and with just 3 laps to go. Can Ryan catch and pass Meriden before the end? As it's just gone up to 3.13 seconds now. So, you know, it's quite interesting to see that, you know, Ryan, because Meriden 7/10 clear, he was about a second quicker than Ryan in qualifying, but clearly Ryan's tyres are just in a better state, and Ryan's done a very good job this race to get up onto the podium. This will be his first podium in GPRL, but talking about podium, talking about winners, 12.7 seconds. Raul has absolutely smashed this race out the park. As here we have Yannick coming out of the pits. I believe, yeah, onto fresh super stuff. He's just going to go for a fast lap of the Grand Prix at the end. We have a Janne in P6, quiet day from the McLarens. Path in P5, he's done a decent job. Steve, you can't criticise him too much. I feel as if he's done all he can. I don't think the soft strategy was the best. Ryan, he's been driving a very good race. And I'm not sure if he'll be able to close in on Meriden before the end, but really showing that, you know, he can match his teammate, and I'm looking forward to seeing this fight in the future rounds. Meriden, without being too critical, it's been a disappointing race. He started off on pole, he lost the lead, and he did keep with Meriden, Raul, sorry, very well in the first few laps before his tyres started overheating, and then it was pretty much game over. There was a 6-second gap, and when Raul came out the pits, it was so close. So he did an incredible job. He set like 3 fastest laps in a row, but yeah, it wasn't enough because Raul got him back around the outside of turn 3, and then Meriden made a mistake, and that was about all she wrote. Nice shot there. You can see Ryan, who's actually been closed in by Steve. So this is, I believe, maybe if it was a longer race, Steve would be on the 1 stop. He would be in a very good position to win this race. But obviously this isn't. It's completely different. Last lap, and it looks like that Raul is going to take his win. Meriden and Ryan 15 seconds back, so it looks like he's going to be absolutely unchallenged. Steve is closing up quite dramatically. Maybe the Toro Rossos had problems with overheating their tyres, but forgetting about the Toro Rossos, it's been an incredible race for Raul today on his GPRL debut after being called up just hours ago. As Janne sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, Raul wins GPRL Season 3 Round 1, the Australian Grand Prix. There's a lock-up for Meriden there into the penultimate corner. He comes home to take P2, and very close there between the two, Renault and Ryan and Steve, as Ryan ends up going Steve ends up going off. Very close there. One more lap, I believe he would have had him. P4 for Steve. P5, I believe, will go to Path, as Janne did set the fast lap of the Grand Prix. Yannick finishing down in P7, very disappointing for him. I believe we might see a hot lap here. But yeah, what a race from Raul. You know, he's really done well today. Very happy for him. The two Toro Rossos, second and third, they will take over the lead, or take the lead of the driver standings. So we look here to Janne, who I believe he's just going for a fast lap, just because why not? Through the final sector. This is like a qualifying lap all over again. Qualifying all over again. He's running quite low on ERS, but you know, this isn't pole. It doesn't matter. Through the final corner now to round off. Let's see if he does set a fastest lap of the Grand Prix just for fun. He does set a fastest lap of the Grand Prix. That was fun. That was nice. Jarno getting P6, and that was stressful. Everything went wrong, but when it went right, Raul was on top, and he did really well today. The Toro Rosso's second and third, so they did well. But the victory goes to Raul. So it's a good race. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll let you enjoy the podium celebrations. I'll catch you in a minute when the results are up. So what a race it was. Race 1, there was a big battle at the front between Raul and Merisian. Raul getting the win of the two. It was Merisian who had to settle for second. Ryan, the Scot, doing a good job up in P3. Steve, P4. He had a good last few laps, I was impressed with that. Parth up from P7 on the grid. Jarno and Yannick, the two McLarens, not setting their season off the way they would have wanted to, in 6th and 7th, and Alessandro in P8. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. We'll be back. We won't be back next week, because there won't be a live stream, because I'm not here. But the week after we will be back. And, yeah. See you next time. Bye-bye.